Welcome everyone. Behavioral and functional strategies. We'll talk about their implementations. So this will be a short, simple glimpse into various functional strategies and how organizations implement them. We will be looking into it based upon the industry that the organization is going to belong to. So whatever I say, please correlate it, please extrapolate it to the company that you are working around it and how the organization strategies needs to be implemented. So we will talk about the process. We will be talking about the actions that has been incorporated through budgets, programs, and procedures. So it is a sum total of the activities and choices that requires to be executed for the organizations to succeed, and that is what we are looking about. Its implementation is concerned. Remember, implementation is the means to an end. That is the strategy that takes place primarily through functional strategies or a structural changes that comes across it, as in who, what, how, and when that comes. Who, what, when, and how it comes, as the case might be. That is what we are talking about. Who is going to activate, who is going to implement, what is to be done, when it is to be done, and how it is to be in the procedures thereby. If you can ask these four questions of three W's and one H, is who, what, when, and how, as the case might be. So 10 problems. I'll just list the 10 problems in implementation. First, it is becoming slower and slower. You are not actually implementing the decision as been anticipated. You're taking a lot of time to anticipate the thing, and whenever you take it, you take a longer decision. Most of the time you are unable to anticipate in the major problems. That's something which is ridiculous. People are watching it, going through it, and are not able to anticipate. Ineffective coordination of activities, competing activities and crises that distract attention, insufficient capabilities of the involved employees, inadequate trainings and instructions of the lower level employees, uncontrollable external environmental factors that comes around here, which we, if we look into it, inadequate leadership and directions by departmental managers, poor definitions of key implementation, tasks and activities that comes around it, and inadequate monitoring of activities by the information system, as the case might be. So we are slower, we do not anticipate. There is a problem as far as communication or coordination is concerned. There is a lack of distractions. Definitely, people are not adequately trained, or they're not able to comprehend the problem that has been facing either by the lower levels or by the skills or by the technicalities. The external environment might be changes very faster, very quicker than you can ever imagine. The leadership might be distorted. Absolutely, yes. There's a poor definition, key implementation, and inadequate monitoring of activities. So, implementation involves a whole management team. Absolutely, yes. This is what the whole management team is all about. It. Every unit, all employees have a role needed to be committed all together. The chief executive officers, other senior executive, the heads, the major unit organization must lead the process and orchestrate the major initiative. But they must rely on a middle and lower level employees also. This is what we are looking into it. The push things in the front line and see how the strategy is well executed on a daily basis. This is what we are looking out here every now and then. So the chief executives, the senior executives, the heads must propel the change what has been anticipated or expected. They must lead it from the front. They must ensure that there is a proper understanding of the change in both on the lower rung of the employees, as the case might be. This is what is a must requirement. So we'll talk about the functional strategies. Remember, the topic is on behavioral and functional strategies implementation, right? This is what we are looking as far as the concerns are there. So we have the marketing strategies is customer targeting, product service positioning mix, breadth, promotion practices, distribution channels, customer service policies, product policies, marketing research, and so on and so forth that comes around it. So we have this marketing strategy that needs to be taken place. We are looking completely focused on the corporate body or the customer that looks around it. Now, based upon the customers, we have to design the product, we have to design the positioning, we have to design the promotional, we have to look for the campaigns or the distribution channel, as the case might be. This is what we are looking into it. That is the requirement. In terms of operation strategies, is capacity planning, location and layout of the facilities that has been there that needs to be taken care of. This is what we should be doing it. We are looking for capex or capital expenditures, location and layout of the facilities, equipment choices, scheduling, and workforce policies, as the case might be. We talk about the R&D strategies, the research focus orientation, the project priorities, budget, quality, time, whatever you want to go around it, relationship to the external organizations, information system, hardware, software capabilities, and integrations, linkage to the external organization, the investment needed. This is what the IT is all about. It is whether we should go for much more investment in technologies, much more investment in communications abilities, thereby we have the human resources. Now, human resource strategies will tell that we should have a temporary employees, we should have permanent employees, what kind of career plan that we are looking for them, what kind of appraisal that can be going about it, what is the salary, what is the packages, what is the training that needs to be incorporated. These are the HR strategies that comes around it. The financial strategies is capital investment returns and resource allocation, as the case might be. Yes, now we talk about the functional strategies example. Let's say building budgets to strategies. New strategies call for significant budget relocations. This is what needs to be understood. Now, if company is doing good, probably company is doing good and is profitable. Now, people might say, why go for a training budget? Why go for training the employees? Now, one of the pitfalls of training is people will not be doing the core activities. They will be looking into training things, and probably this is going to consume their time and effort, right? Which they could have concentrated or they could have worked for their technical things for which they have been employed in. But the advantages that nobody realized, but which actually accrues to the training, is the longevity of the employees enhanced. The employees feel they have been valued. The employees pick up the new skills, and these skills are going to enhance the productivity of the organization in the long run. So that is what you need to understand. Depriving strategy critical groups of fund needed to execute their pieces of strategy can undermine the implementation process. Remember, establishing strategy supportive policies is having a top-down guidance approach regarding expected behavior. Note, too much policy can be as bad as wrong policy or no policy at all. So too much of guidance, too fixation would be as bad as having no policy at all. Instituting the best practices, continuous improvement, search out, adopting the best practices and benchmarking is to have an integral effective implementation. This is what we are looking out here. Absolutely, yes. Installing support system, having a vibrant support system in terms of information sharing, in terms of creating a system to foster knowledge, disseminations of the knowledge, dissemination of the information. Then we have this motivational, incentivized compensation system, which may be monetary, which may be non-monetary. Remember, this keeps the people vibrant to the organization. This keeps the people relevant to the organization, as the case might be, as things improve. Now, talking about the aspect common to total quality management and continuous improvement is committed leadership. Comes from the top. Adoption of the communication of TQM, closer customer relationship, closer supplier relationship, benchmarking, increased training, open organizations, employee empowerment, zero defects mentality, flexible manufacturing, process improvement and measurement, as the case might be. This is what we are looking forward to it. Basic characteristics. Remember, great basic characteristics is total quality management or continuous quality improvement program, CQI, is what we are talking about it. So we have spoken about the commitment in the leadership, commitment in the customer relationship, commitment or benchmarking and the best practices, having a wonderful training, having a Six Sigma as far as productions are concerned, processes are concerned, zero defect mentality, flexible manufacturing. So what are we looking into it? So we are looking into building a competitive assets in a company, having hard to imitate aspects, requires substantial investment of management, time, effort, expensive in terms of training and meeting, seldom producing short-term result, looking always at the longer horizon, longer-term payoff, instilling a TPM culture, as the case might be. So employee control and reward challenge is how to ensure actions of an employee stay within the acceptable bounds. Purpose of diagnostic control system is to relieve managers of a burden of a constant monitoring. Control methods establish boundaries on what to do and what not to do. This is what we are looking at it. Is a salary raise, as in monetary incentive, performance bonuses, stock options, retirement packages, promotion, perks. We have these rewards that keeps on happening it, right? We have an increment every on an annual basis. We have a performance bonus. We have a stock options. We have a retirement packages. We have promotions. We have perks, and so on and so forth. Then comes the non-monetary incentives, as in the praises, the constructive criticism, special recognition, more or less job security, interesting assignment, more or less the job responsibility, as the case might be. This is what we are looking forward to is as far as employee controls and employee rewards are concerned. Remember, control is not is to challenge how the actions of an employee stay within the requisite boundaries or within the acceptable boundaries of the company's ethos. Purpose to have a diagnostic control system, as the case might be. Let us go to the structural changes. Now, what happens is changes are often the keys to strategic implementation. Yes, if there are changes, and that is what will lead to the implementation of the strategies. Changes might be good, might be bad. There might be flattening of the organization, might be introducing hierarchy in the organization. A few hard, fast rate is to always support and facilitate a good strategy. Now, how do you support and good strategy is to communicate well, ensure why the things changes have been incorporated in the first place. Research indicates the structure affects performances everywhere. Structure merit reassessment whenever the strategy changes as on when on basis. How the work structure is means to an end and not an end to me itself. This is what is the requirement of the day. Remember, believe me or not, no design is perfect in an organization, and if you start mimicking the organization design of some competitive, some successful organization, you might be able to mimic it, but the implementation you might falter, and that is the reason there is no hard and fast rule for a particular design or ideal design that goes around it. But what I will always say is to match structures to strategy. Yes, I will be showing a number of structures in the subsequent two slides, which will give you a basic understanding of to the designs are concerned, modifying them as on when on needed, implementing with coordinating mechanism and communications as the case might be. This is what we are looking forward to in the process of structural changes. Let me give it to you the structural forms in the two slides that I've said. One is the traditional form. You know, we have a general manager, the R&D, the manufacturing, the HR, the engineering, the marketing. It's one, and then we have so many things, right? So many things that comes around it. And this can again have the chief engineer, then the assistant engineer, the deputy engineer, or we can have something like we come and do the general manager's operation, right? General manager engineering. What happened is process oriented. Somebody is looking at foundry, somebody at milling and grinding, screw machining, finishing and heat treatment, inspection, loading and shipment, customer services, billing and accounting. So what it's been doing is it's part of the engineering department. So this can be process oriented. This is somewhere down the corner, a traditional oriented that comes around it. Remember, you should always marry the structure to the requirement of the company. Let us come to the structural forms. Now, this is all about the SBU, or strategic business unit structure, which says of SBU1, SBU2, SBU3, maybe Asia, maybe Australia, maybe America that we are talking about it. So they are located in three different continents. The vice president in Asia, vice president in Australia, vice president in America, as the case might be. These are strategically business unit related. Or better is a matrix structure. This is a bit complicated, definitely in implementation and execution wise is concerned. Now we have the general managers, and then we have the um, it's been mentioned venue managers, maybe it's the strategic business unit, maybe Australia, America, Asia, Africa, as the case might be, and the R&D specialties, the production specialist, or the marketing specialist, or the financial specialist, as the case might be. Everybody is reporting to at least 2%. At least 2%. In matrix organization, it might be more than 2% also, as the case of the as the case stands out there. So this is what you need to understand. Now, for a strategic control system will tell me exactly how it has been happening as on when on basis. A system to support the managers in assessing the relevance of the organization, strategies to its progress when the discrepancy exists, and the areas are needed for the attention. This is based on being a continuous feedback that has been given to you on a concurrent basis. Two primary things. It's been the feedback which has been solicited, and there are controls as to what has been already established what was expected and what is the actual, as in concurrent basis that we goes around it. So you are matching your actuals with the standard that has been prescribed when you were doing in a planning stage. Yes, this is what the static control system is all about. It keeps the manager relevant, it keeps the manager on the toes as to the progress of the accomplishment is concerned. We come into the feedback controls. Now, what are the feedback controls? Are basically budgets, ratio analysis, or return on investment, or return on asset, debt to equity, audits, goals and objective, balance scorecard measures, and so on and so forth that comes around it. This is what would be the controls are around. Then comes the concurrent controls. Probably the last slide of the day would be providing the managers with the real-time information about the process, about the activity, so that any deviation can be monitored, can be corrected, can be immediately attended to. So SPC or warning system, statistical process control, the Six Sigma that we talk about it, setting preference to a specific work activities. For example, work automobile assembly in a line manufacturing, allowing warnings to occur before it can impact the outcomes. Obviously, if there are things and that goes around it, I am sure one of the glorifying example is if you have your if you're working on a laptop, the laptop battery is draining, the laptop will actually display the battery depleted battery warnings around it. So it's just before it actually can impact. So what can be done, you can always put it in a charge, so you can continue with the work with your laptop, so there's nothing goes wrong. And that is what SPC or warning system is all about it. Inventory controls are tracking stock levels to a different item, so the new behaviors can be made. Behavioral controls encourage employees to comply with the norms and procedures, rules and regulation, socialization process that comes around it. So we have understood with the behavioral and the functional strategies that keeps to be taken care of. The inventory control, the behavioral control, and the statistical process control that is there. With this, I come to an end of this presentation. I'm sure everybody's understood what are the various functional strategies implementation is all about it and the behavioral implications thereby. Thank you for watching this video.